So Marques, you said this new app you're trying is a for sure Twitter killer. You said Twitter is probably going to be done by the end of the week. I think that's what you said off camera.
That's what some advocates would interpret my statement as.
Oh,
But
that's how I took
advocates.
it.
I'll read what I wrote,
You mean
and,
Mark
then
Zuckerberg?
and then I'll expand on it. How about that?
I like that.
Okay, so what I tweeted, and just for background, Twitter, mostly text-based. I think we can agree it's
Yeah.
at least
A
it
lot,
started off
yes.
that way. So the number one thing Twitter has over Blue Sky and Mastodon and T2 and all these other competitors has always been the people. That's what makes Meta launching their Twitter competitor Threads so interesting.
Yeah.
They'll port everyone's Instagram handles over and we'll just have people right away. And I tweeted that. I hit send. Got a lot of interesting replies. I am currently using Threads. I have the app on my phone. I'm in the sort of like early access group. It's going to go live right before this podcast goes up.
So we will also be using Threads by the time you watch
y'all
or
will
hear this.
follow us on Threads. It's another one. But I think that's the interesting thing, and I guess I'll expand it to two things, actually. The thing that Twitter has had over T2, Mastodon, Blue Sky is infrastructure and people.
Yeah.
Infrastructure, I just say because like they're a real company, and when I look at T2, like they're slowly like building features and bug fixing, and they don't have an app yet. And
Scrappy
it's like
startup.
we're gonna figure out how to do DMs in the next month. Like they're really early.
Yeah.
I don't think you can even block someone on T2 yet. Like Mastodon is down all the time. Blue Sky, the app crashes all the time. Like things are slowly coming together, but Twitter, say what you want about Twitter, but they implement stuff for real and fast, even if you hate what they're doing.
Maybe
they're
too
doing
real
it,
sometimes.
So that's one thing. And Meta has that. Meta has that in spades. They're a real company that can make a real app with real features. And as soon as I use Threads, I'm like, yeah, they built Twitter. They've got reshares, they've got DMs, they've got posts, they've got sharing images and videos, they've got profiles, they've built the connection with Instagram. They've just built it, and they have the infrastructure to keep building things. So that's number one. And then number two, I think obviously Twitter doesn't have a ton of people compared to Facebook, whatever. I think it's maybe 300 million versus however many billion. But it does have a lot of like real people that people care about following. They've got athletes, they've got artists, they've got creators like us, they've got politicians, they've got all these sports teams, TV shows are all on Twitter. And Mastodon, T2, Blue Sky, there's a couple here and there. Like you might log in and be like, oh, cool, like Oprah's on Mastodon. Like, I don't know, randomly you'll see like a couple things pop up. But to me, it was always like, well, Twitter has everybody already. So even if the features are a little bit weird, at least that's where the people are, and that's what I'm here for. And Meta also has that because Instagram, Facebook, the social graph is built in. And I guess what's basically happening is when you sign up for Threads, you keep your Instagram handle, I guess is how it works. You don't automatically follow everyone or get followed by people who follow your Instagram, but at least you have your handle and you're verified already. And then you jump in and the people are already there. Like when I was using it pre-release, as I've been using it, obviously, Instagram employees, Zuck and Adam Mosseri and people like that, but also just like a bunch of celebrities are already on it, using it, kind of just like poking around. And I have a feeling that's just going to grow kind of the same way it was because everyone already uses Instagram and expects that.
Yeah.
So those two things, infrastructure and people, they are what made Twitter better than its competitors. And this is the first competitor that's come along that has potentially both of those things right out the gate. And that's why it's interesting to see what happens.
I have some questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, I want to tell a story first.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
Yeah.
this morning, David posted into Slack saying like, oh, Threads is like available and you can go to it and see it. Like it's not out. You can't just download it, but like the website is up.
Mm-hmm.
And then Marques goes, in real life, like in real time, yeah, I've been using this for like 2 or 3 days now, like in pre-release.
And I was like,
the
can
real
you
life meme
stop?
happened to us.
Yeah.
Like every time. I'm always like, oh, I've some exciting new information. And Marcus is just like, oh, I've been using that for a
Yeah,
while.
I've been
It's popping. It's popping off over there. I have a ton of. I had to mute my Threads notifications for
Wow.
the day because
Dang.
I guess because I got a notification for everything.
Yeah. Okay. So questions.
Yeah.
Number one, does the app feel like really well built out? Like, does it have basically all the same features as Twitter?
Good question. So 80%, yeah. 80% of all of the stuff you'd expect. And I think they're probably going to add stuff that Twitter doesn't already have. So there is no like For You page, but there's like sort of the home page.
Thank God.
Can we see that?
Yeah, you can.
I don't
You
want a For
can
You page.
sort of let me screen record. Boom.
Yeah.
Screen record. So just to walk through the UI, there's the home page, just like Twitter. You can like something, you can comment on something.
Well, this looks exactly like
reply
Twitter.
to something. You can attach an image.
Oh, you can do image sharing.
It does crash in iOS 17 beta when I try to image share.
no.
So I'll say that.
iPhone sucks.
Yeah, well, just on the iPhone. But there is media. You can share photos and videos. There's a search function, so you can find new users, and it does suggest a bunch. So look, Gordon Ramsay's at the top. I can click in. He's got an avatar. He's got one thread. I can follow him. Cool. There's Compose, which is just a Compose window. Mm-hmm. There are likes and all your activity, so replies, mentions, verified, and your profile.
Wait, Oh, no.
So there is already a sorting mechanism for just people who are verified.
They're building in this whole meta verified thing into this, aren't they?
Oh,
For sure,
yeah, of
100%.
course. If it's through Instagram, they're definitely going to do that.
So it's all here.
Okay.
It's all working.
Other question.
Yeah.
How high quality is the photo and video upload? Because Instagram is crap, and Twitter, before it got bought by Elon, made a very strong push to make photo quality really good, and I really love that about Twitter. But Twitter never had any sort of like, they have a media page, but they don't have like a curated like gallery page.
Yeah.
And something that I was hoping, because this is like an Instagram sub product in a way, I was hoping maybe there would be some sort of like gallery linkage to your Instagram or something.
Haven't seen that.
Okay.
And I actually haven't really pixel peeped too much on the image quality either. I'll look into that.
Because Instagram has really low image quality.
Yeah. Everything is pixel. Everything you fine tune detail and color and everything, and then you post it, and you're like, "What happened to my precious?"
Exactly.
Yeah, that may still be true about this. But yeah, they really didn't do any sort of features that Twitter hasn't done.
Okay.
So there aren't like a YouTube studio or like a Twitter analytics studio or anything crazy like that. There isn't like a new gallery view for images. They haven't really gone that crazy or done anything like super innovative, but they have built the bare bones like pieces of a text-based social media app.
Do you know how many photos you can upload at once and what the video max time is?
I have only tried to upload one, and I have only seen people upload one, and I don't know what the max time is, but I
If it's
imagine
only one, if you can't upload like 4 at least, that's...
Yeah, 4. I've only seen one.
Can you try to do multiple right now and see what happens?
So it crashes anytime I try.
Right.
So it might not work, but let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Add.
7
Crash.
videos?
It just crashes instantly.
All
Yeah, again, the basics.
Okay.
It's got the basics.
I would love to do like 10 photos. That would be amazing. Because the 4 max on Twitter has also been kind of annoying to me.
You could thread it.
Well, I think
What does that mean?
So Instagram, you can do a carousel of what, 8, 10?
10.
10, yeah.
And on Lemon 8, you can do a carousel of, I believe, 8 or 10 as
That's
well.
not real.
So I think they'll probably do that at some point. But right now, I think really it's just about like the social graph and the interestingness of it being a new place where all the people you already know are hanging out. That's kind of the main thing that's interesting.
Looking at it right there, it looks like Twitter. And that's a great thing.
Yeah, it's a great
to be
thing.
honest, because exactly like you said, there are people already on it. It looks and seems like it's acting just like Twitter. Like scrolling through it, I'm just seeing random thoughts with GIF replies and a place to look at my activities and a place to follow people and a way to look at my own profile. Like the notification page looks nice. You can split it up between verified users and all replies and just replies or likes and stuff like that. Like,
and it's also interesting they separated replies from mentions. So if it's a new post that mentions you,
Nice.
that's one section.
That's really
If
nice.
it's
Really good.
reply to something you posted, that's a different section.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
What was I also going to say? Wow, I really lost my chain of thought there.
Can you thread things yet?
Well, but
can you?
so what's it calling? It's
called Threads.
Yeah.
And basically every single post has a section where you can jump in and view specifically the replies. So I guess that's their mechanic for it being Threads. I haven't been able to thread multiple threads together. I guess it's called Threads.
Can you like make a thread that has like when you finish you hit like add additional thread or add additional
Well, that's the thing.
post?
What's the character limit?
Yeah, is there a character limit?
These are all good questions.
Because
Let me
like
try.
I'm assuming if there isn't a way to do that, which is already weird because it's called a thread,
Yeah.
and it feels like you can't thread it like you can on Twitter.
So I
but
guess-
is there a character?
So you can thread it just by like adding it to this. Basically, every post has a thread of all the replies underneath it, and you can just add to that thread, and
Okay.
it just shows up in line. So I guess technically that's a thread.
Okay.
Character limit. Test. It doesn't show up visually.
It does.
so-
It doesn't show a character count as you're
doesn't.
typing.
does
Okay.
not, yeah.
Yeah. One thing I was going to say while you were trying to hit that character limit is when Blue Sky first launched on mobile. One of the most positive things that we were saying about it was, "Wow, this looks exactly like Twitter." And if Meta can like make something that looks exactly like Twitter, cool. I will say that like Elon made this one point that it's like worst person you know just made a great point.
I hit the limit.
You did? Well, what is it?
It doesn't show how many characters I typed.
Does it feel like
but
more
that's
than
the limit.
Twitter? That feels like about the same.
I'd say about the same.
Yeah, it's probably 280.
Don't know for sure.
240.
That's a reasonable amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, Elon made this point where he was like, can't wait for the future when every single social media app on the internet is owned by one company. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason I loved Twitter was that it wasn't part of some mega corporation. But
he also
now
wants to
he's-
turn Twitter into that, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
he's
Which is-
burning it down. He wants it to be a mega corporation, and also it's like now it's bundled in with like Tesla and SpaceX.
I
and
guess
stuff.
that is a potential concern is that
For
we're all
sure.
like leaving Twitter because we want to get away from one, like, oh, we don't like what Elon's doing. Now you're running into the arms of Zuck. Is that what's happening?
the billionaires own our souls, basically.
Which
Yeah.
Threads isn't going to be launching in the EU because of that.
Wait, really?
Oh, really?
At
they-
all?
Because they don't meet the data privacy requirements in the EU. They're still working it out, according to this article.
Yeah,
that
it said
I'm reading,
it's
but-
not going to be coming out at launch. In
They're
the EU.
gonna
Yeah, at launch,
work on that
exactly.
for
Yeah,
sure.
they're working on it to get.
I
it
don't
to
follow
launch.
anyone in the EU anyways.
You probably do.
I definitely
All of
do.
Europe.
SAF,
SAF.
Aaron.
All of
Super
Europe.
sad.
Also, quick question. I'm wondering, how do you think this is going to tie into Instagram
So
itself?
that is my.
Yes.
That's a big
'Cause it's a
question for
separate
me,
app,
for
right?
sure.
So like stories, reels, those are baked into the Instagram app, and those are the things that I think of as successful Instagram taking things.
Yeah.
So
But
I was
like IGTV,
yeah, IGTV was separate. We
separate
saw how
app
that went.
died.
Yeah. I was told that you will be able to share threads to stories and it'll link directly to the Threads app, which is interesting. And so that's how I think at launch, a lot of people will be sharing their Threads accounts is by sharing a thread into your Instagram and getting that audience over there.
That actually does make a lot of sense because how many people screenshot tweets and post it as a story?
Yeah.
So if you could just directly share an actual link to a tweet, you have a better
To a
way
thread.
of giving credit to the people and actually giving them
Because if it
engagement.
jumps straight to that.
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
links in, you get to, it's probably because it's your own post, it's probably some sort of verified something happening there just to make sure you can like actually link it.
Yeah.
You know, because of that, I could see this being Twitter in general, out of all the social medias, if you were to make a sponsored post as a creator, is the worst, like the worst deals you'll get. Like, because engagement on Twitter is lower, it has less people, and in general, like it's swiped through pretty quickly. Instagram's higher, and being able to link directly to Instagram, I could see marketing companies wanting to use Threads more with creators than Twitter if it actually gets to that point
Yeah.
of being
Yeah.
as big as Twitter.
Also, if a lot of people feel like they're seeing double because they've heard this Threads name before, there was an app called Threads from Meta. That
really?
it was a dedicated. It only closed down last year in 2020, or sorry, in 2021. But it was a dedicated Instagram DM app that it was like it used your Instagram account just for DMs. And I don't know why they had it. I think they were like kind of testing whether or not people, because a lot of younger people use like Snapchat as the main way they communicate, right?
Right.
And I actually talk to a lot of people only really through Instagram DMs because it's a pretty fully fledged like messaging app, you know? So they tested an app called Threads, which was just messaging. They shut it down 2 years ago. And now they're just kind of like resurfacing the branding. The funny thing is like the word Threads makes a lot of sense because it's already called a Twitter thread, right?
Yeah.
And so if you could just like Threads for conversations, like
It's a pretty good name.
it's a pretty good name.
Pretty good name. How do you feel about the logo?
It's like the @ sign with an additional little loop, right?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Just
Yeah.
black, white on black.
Yeah.
I don't
I don't hate it. It looks too much like a generic @ to me, but and also the color of it is a lot like Instagram, right?
I think it's just
When you
black.
open
Or is it
right
black?
now.
the splash screen has Instagram colors, but everything else seems to be black and white.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
you know what's
fine.
funny? And I just found something, and I'm not sure it's going to do this, but there's a corner up at the top. There's an Instagram logo. When I hit that, it goes to my Instagram profile. I wonder if there's going to be a Threads logo.
That would be amazing.
And I hit
That's
that,
sick.
and it goes back to my Threads.
That would be
account.
great.
That seems like what they would do.
That's like a very seamless transition as well.
Yeah.
Like, that looks really nice.
Yeah.
I really like that.
It's funny because I've built a lot of my following on Twitter, and now I'm like, ugh, I wish they were on Instagram. And I have like a certain,
I feel like that
a very,
all the time.
I have a much smaller percentage on Instagram, but I would like more people to be on my Instagram because I actually post my photos there. So if I can have the cross compatibility,
No, I totally agree. And to add on to that, like, I've enjoyed using Instagram more, but you take a bunch of great pictures. I don't. I just make like one-line jokes on Twitter every once in a while. So
Those are
like,
good. You should put
I
that
would
on
like to go over
Instagram.
there so they can go together. Yeah, I'll write it on a post-it
Screenshot
note
it?
and take a picture of it
Oh, yeah,
and then
yeah.
post it on my story.
yeah.
Honestly, that would be a great profile.
Doesn't Alton Brown do that?
Oh, really?
He does something like that.
Everyone has some version of how they post things.
It's been done already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, by the time you guys listen to or see this podcast, it will be out. So
Follow all of us.
Follow all of us.
So all of this was useless because they already have it.
Yeah, they're all like,
No, they wanna know
already.
Thread at us on how you
Thread
like
me.
it.
I was going to
guess.
ask that.
Thread me,
So,
bro.
A Twitter post is called a tweet. Is a thread post just called a thread? Is
It
that
shouldn't be because a thread is still a function within the app. So I feel like they should call it. It's probably just going to be called a post.
Yeah. I was
And
gonna
if you
say.
make a post and nobody replies, there are no threads, so it can't be a thread.
Exactly. You could thread a thread and have a like thread squared.
You
or
have to
something.
reply to yourself to make it a thread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you don't use the thread emoji.
How long till we have third-party thread apps?
Never. I feel like the era of third-party apps is just over.
Isn't Thread also like
the worst
the
time.
home tech?
Thread is
no.
part of Matter.
It's
yeah.
part of Matter.
Yeah, Thread is
Okay.
part of
I'm gonna
Matter.
have to keep those straight in my head.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Thread is out. If you want to follow us on Thread,
Yeah. We're gonna
on
be
there.
we will be the same handles that we are on Instagram.
hey, thanks for watching this clip. We were talking about a whole bunch of different social media stuff on this episode, so now I feel like it would be appropriate. As you like this video, we should figure out what that action is on every other social network. So on YouTube, it's a like. On Reddit,
Upvote.
upvote.
Twitter, it's a like.
Twitter, it's a like.
It used to be a fave, which it is on Mastodon as a fave.
Okay.
Mastodon is a fave.
A T2 is a T. Is that a T2? Or is that what happens
Still-
when you T2?
Yeah, it's still a like.
I think it's
Just a
still
like.
it.
Oh. What's
Facebook?
Blue Sky?
On Facebook, that's the classic.
That's the classic
Yeah.
classic
like.
like.
So Blue Sky.
Blue Sky. What?
It's a heart, but I think it's also a like.
It's probably a like.
I don't think it has a
Instagram?
name.
On Instagram, they removed it, so you don't know. It
It's
just
also a
says,
heart.
Many
It's a
people
like.
liked this.
Oh, it's a like
It's still like,
It's
though,
still
yeah.
a like.
yeah, I guess.
That's a lot of likes.
But also
See,
a lot of data.
Who
I
would've
mean, that's a
thought?
lot of smarts, but also a lot of data. Bingo.
Let's go.
Bingo.
Okay. Well,
All right.
thanks, guys.